Bum, 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 bum. Welcome back, my friend. This is BjjBrick Quick. This is your quick Jiu-Jitsu podcast. My name is Byron. We've been talking about the 10,000 hour rule this week. That's a lot of training. If you've missed the previous episodes this week, you need to go back and check them out, my friends. This week, we kind of have an antidote because I haven't been real supportive of the 10,000 hours of training. I think it's a silly benchmark. There are smarter ways to train jiu-jitsu than grind out countless hours of just mat time. One of them is by this gentleman, Daniel Coyle. Who is he, you ask? He wrote the book, The Talent Code. Man, I wish there was a good interview of Daniel Coyle also talking about jiu-jitsu stuff. Oh, wait a minute. BjjBrick did this interview way back in 2014. Man, this podcast has been around for a little while. Check it out. Episode 31, yours truly, struggling to figure out how to interview somebody who was a little bit intimidating. New York Times bestselling author. He agreed to do the interview. I couldn't believe it. And I get him on the podcast, my friends. He's a super nice guy. But I won't likely put a link in this podcast for that. But it's episode 31. If you just Google Daniel Coyle, Coyle, or the Talent Code, and BJJ, and if you want to be extra careful, BjjBrick, the interview pops right up. I'm probably pretty darn nervous in the episode. Anyways, he's got a solution that's not 10,000 hours. So, but it's not necessarily there. He wrote this article, I think, later. He says, forget the 10,000 hour rule. Instead, aim for 10 minutes. What is this? Ridiculous. In 10 minutes, I'm not going to get good at jiu-jitsu. No, he doesn't propose that. It's a way of training. And think of it like kind of like your positional sparring, which I talked a little bit about last episode. 10 minutes. Here we go. You pick out a target skill. I keep getting guillotined on my takedowns. That's a target skill. Maybe that's yours. You know what? That hasn't been an issue for me a long time. I have been guillotined takedowns, but I'm just saying, pick a skill. I can't escape side control. My guard keeps getting passed. Pick a skill. Pick a problem. Pick something you want to get better at. Then you're going to have a super high intensity of that training for about 10 minutes. So if it's the guillotine while I'm doing my takedowns, I'm going to, hey buddy, hey Jake, I'm going to work on takedowns, and I'm expecting me to work 10 minutes straight with me. This for the first couple of minutes, start standing up, and I'm going to try to get my takedowns. I get guillotine, I'll tell him. It's no problem. If you can find a guillotine, take it. Let me know what I did wrong. And I'm going to be working. It's going to be a tough amount of effort by me. He's going to be guillotining me, giving me feedback. My next person, maybe you do have a buddy that go 10 minutes with you, no problem. And 10 minutes isn't even a hard rule. I think a lot of us have a hard time doing 10 minutes of takedowns. What Daniel Coyle says is once you start to get tired, once you're not fresh, around a minute, half, 30 seconds, go longer than that. Training should stop, and you should train properly. So what's going on here? This 10,000 hours. A lot of people have 10,000 hours of jiu-jitsu training and don't even have a takedown that's worth a darn. That's worth 2 weeks of training worth. They don't play that game, which is fine. I'm not saying that you can't have jiu-jitsu and be that way. But if what Daniel Coyle is proposing is a more deliberate practice with feedback and changes being made as they're happening. If I partner up with Jake and he guillotined me 3 times, you think I'm going to listen to his advice after that? Yes. Man, he found exactly what my problem is. And then next week or next couple days after I've taken a taken a rest, and I wish there was a funny joke there, but I can't think of anything. And recovered, I'm gonna do it again, and I'm gonna try to clean up from what I did last time. Maybe start with a little less intensity. Don't give me 100%. That was a bit much. Still wrap up my neck and show me where I make a mistake. I'm working on this. Have deliberate practice. It doesn't need to be super long. This is basically your positional sparring that we call it in Jiu-Jitsu. It's a superior way to learn Jiu-Jitsu. All of us can relate. When you're new at Jiu-Jitsu, you learn a mount attack at some point in time. And then you're like, oh, this is going to be sweet. And you can't get to mount. You might as well forget that technique. There's too many skills required for you to even get to attempt the technique. But if you're in a positional spar with somebody, you just say, hey, can I try my mount attack for a little while on you? You're going to find all kinds of nuances to the attack that weren't presented while you were learning the technique. So there's an article as well. It's called Forget the 10,000 Hours, Aim for 10 Minutes. It's by Daniel Coyle. Again, I'm not, I kind of produce these all in a big chunk. I'm not going to put a bunch of links on here, but you can Google that. It'll pop right up. He's got a nice little website. His books are good too. He has a little book of Talent Code. I think he has another book I read. What's it? Culture Code. The Talent Code and Culture Code. Those are two different. Those are good. Culture Code. Any gym jiu-jitsu coach should own and have read the Culture Code. Super good book for jiu-jitsu. All right, I'm off topic. Better to get out of here for you. I was going to say, if you want to support the podcast, have a Patreon page. You can go there, support per month. Really appreciate you guys going there and check out the rewards or the little token of gratitude I could send you. It's it's a little podcast. This isn't some huge podcast. I've just been doing this for a long time. Like I said, the interview with Daniel Coyle was years ago. All right, my friends. Hope you have a great day and stay sweaty.